In today's video, I'm breaking down how to win 90% of your off spawns in Fortnite. I'm going to walk you through 3 completely different solo ranked games, each showing unique situations and exactly how I played them to come out on top. On top of that, these are the same strategies my duo and I used in FNCS divisions, and after applying them, we didn't lose a single off spawn in the entire tournament. If you want to stop dying early and start dominating your drops, lock in and watch all the way till the end. And let's hop right into it. Alright, this first game I landed at my drop spot, which is Clausey Lodge. The first and most important thing you do when you load into the match is mark the drop and make sure your teammates, if you have any, know exactly where you're going. After that's all worked out and you're on the bus, the next thing you need to do is make sure you get to the drop first. So what you're going to do, like what I did in this game, is find the lowest part of the map around the POI, go straight down over it, and have it pop your glider early so you're the lowest out of everyone else. Now the next thing you need to look for is how many people are contesting you at the drop spot and if anyone is going to land around the drop spot too. As you guys can see, I saw about 5 players landing in the same area, which means this drop spot is super contested. The next thing I want you guys to look for is either ground loot that's a weapon or a chest in a somewhat protected area, so that if someone does land before you and does get a weapon before you, you don't get sprayed and die right away because of them. Once you have that all figured out, we can land. And as you guys saw, I landed and got a pistol and proceeded to miss every shot on this player out of the sky. Oh well, it happens to the best of us. Now I know where everything in this POI is, so I went over to the corner of this cabin, grabbed the chest, and popped the chug barrels. I knew one kid landed at the far house and I heard one land on the main building, so I decided I need to find more loot before taking an actual fight. For a lot of you guys, the better option might be to change locations and run away to find another place that's unlooted. But in this scenario and in my brain, the goal was to find a shotgun and some heals, as well as enough mats to box myself up before I took a fight. So I went to the main building, waited, and then opened this chest and opened another chest and finally got a shotgun. Remember, the main thing you guys need to remember for off spawn is staying alive regardless of how you play it. And if you guys want to fight like I do off spawn, the next most important thing is making sure you actually have an advantage with one thing. That advantage might be having a full loadout, having more mats than most players, having more heals, or having all of the above. Just make sure one thing is full so that when you do go fight someone, you have the advantage and a higher chance of walking away with you winning and not dying. In this instance, I got the shotgun and then got pushed right away, but he didn't know where I was while I knew exactly where he was. So I broke out of the house, saw him on the roof, and killed him with a couple shotgun shots. Right there, I had multiple advantages. I had the awareness advantage, the health advantage, and the gun advantage. All 3 of those things led to me killing him super fast and not taking any damage from him whatsoever. Right after that fight, I grabbed the mats and the ammo and once again remembered that more than one person landed here. So when I went to loot this chest, I had to be ready for someone to attack me, and that's exactly what happened. He came out and shot and missed, which gave me time to build and get height, which once again is another short advantage. I then dropped down, he took a horrible edit on me, and I once again got the kill really fast with just a couple shotgun shots, and he didn't hit me either. But right after that kill, I heard and saw more footsteps, so I went onto the roof and saw another player down below, and I got some opening damage on him, and then I got a huge bump on him, and now I had the advantage in every way because he was low on health, I could tell he had no mats, and he was definitely scared of me. Once again, I had the advantage in every way, so I kind of just pieced the man and got the cleanup real quick, and that was the off spawn of my first game. The main takeaway from this first game is honestly just how important it is to set yourself up before you ever take a fight. Everything I did here was just building small advantages over time instead of jumping into fights with nothing. From the start in Fortnite, I made sure I had the best drop, landed first, and didn't panic when I missed all my shots. Instead, I played it smart, grabbed extra loot, got my heals up, and waited until I had something going for me before I actually fought. That's the biggest difference that I see in most pros compared to regular players. A lot of players would have just kept spraying with a pistol or instantly pushed someone with no mats, no shotgun, nothing, but I slowed it down for a second, got what I needed, and then took fights when I actually had the advantage. And every single kill after that came from the same idea. I either had better awareness, better positioning, more health, or just better loot. I was never taking a completely fair fight, and that's why I didn't take any damage and wiped everyone in the POI so fast. So yeah, if you take anything from this game, it's don't just fight to fight. Make sure you have at least one clear advantage before you go in, and you're gonna win way more of your off spawns. Now we're gonna head into our second game. Our second game started off the same way. I marked the drop, dropped down, looked for how many people were coming, and landed on a gun in a chest right away since I was the first one down. And this time I didn't miss every shot on the player out of the air. Then once again, I looted up just enough to fight and have the advantage on the player that just landed right as I got that chest. So now my goal was to kill him before he got any good loot. So I jumped on the roof, broke through the glass, dropped down on him, missed every shot, and still got the kill before he could even shoot at me. In this game, I knew only one other player landed with me besides the one I just killed, so it gave me a bit of time to loot up and get ready for the next fight, since I saw him land on the opposite side of the POI. So I looted some chests, got max heals, and once again grabbed as much mats as possible so that I had every advantage in my favor. I then decided to push and I heard his footsteps down below, so I dropped down through the center. He was trying to hide behind something, but I already knew where he was. I hit him with some quick piece control, got some good damage on him, and noticed he was hit for white. So I took another shot, jumped in his face, and got a free kill. This off spawn was a little bit quicker, but the same rules applied. I ended up looting the rest of the POI, and then other people were fighting nearby, so I launched on them. I stole one of the player's kills and then killed the other player he was fighting. These 2 kills were only possible because I won my off spawn so fast and was able to key people who were still having issues with their off spawn. The main key takeaway from this game is honestly just how important it is to play fast and not give people time to breathe, but still play smart. As you can see, every fight I took before the other player could even get comfortable or fully loot up. I landed first, got a gun instantly, and instead of wasting time looting, I just grabbed what I needed and went straight into fighting. That's really the difference. Most players in Fortnite sit there looting for way too long or loot for way too little, and by the time they fight, the other guy is stacked and ready. But if you get a gun, a bit of mats, maybe some heals, and instantly pressure, they're always going to be at a disadvantage. Also, just knowing where the other guy landed helped a lot because I knew I had a little bit of time, but not enough for him to get fully ready to fight me. So I used that time to get set, then pushed before he could do anything. So yeah, if you take anything away from this, it's don't play slow off spawn. Get what you need, then instantly fight while they're still weak. And now we go into the 3rd game. The first 2 focus more on how to play if someone actually contests you and the different ways to handle that. But this game is fully focused on what to do off spawn if you land uncontested and want to fully set yourself up for the rest of the game. That is exactly what I did in game 3, and it ended up giving me the first win out of these 3 games. To start this game off, I did the same thing I would for the start of any match. I watched where people went and how many, and I noticed I had this spot all to myself, unless those people from above came down, but they wouldn't risk that because I already had guns and heals. So my main goal here was to get all the loot from this drop and fully set myself up for anything that could happen in the mid game. Once again, I still landed on something at the top and grabbed some loot right away. Now, I'm going to still loot up a certain way, and I want you guys to pay attention to how I do it. First thing that I looted was that whole first building and grabbed all the heals and everything inside of it. Then, instead of going to the second building and grabbing all the loot in there, I once again wanted to stack another advantage over 90% of players in the game at this point in time in the match, which was to have as many mats as possible. I already had good loot, and the only difference between me and the other players is that they might have more mats than me. So I went out and I looted a lot of trees, rocks, and even some metal. After I had a good amount of mats, I then decided to loot the second building and the other buildings in the distance. The main concept here is that if anyone were to push me right after the off spawn, or even 5 minutes after, I would still have the advantage over them. Anyways, that was it for game 3 really. I just looted up and then proceeded to use the loot I got from that off spawn and won the game. But now I'm going to talk about some other things that I can't show you in the game. But before I do that, I want to talk about my mechanics training map. If you guys are stuck with your mechanics and just want to get better at Fortnite overall, you should go play my mechanics map. It has multiple sections that other maps don't have that specifically train some of your most important mechanics in the game, like crosshair placement and aim while moving. I'm going to leave the code in the map in the description and in the pinned comment, and if you guys do go play it, make sure to favorite it and recommend it, as well as to play it every day to consistently get better. And there's some huge updates coming soon, so stay tuned. Also, before I go into the last but some of the most important things about offspawn, make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe, as well as send the video to a friend that needs it. But let's hop right back into it. First thing I want to talk about is not taking 50-50s off spawn. You guys really don't understand how many games are thrown just by doing this. So many players land on the exact same chest, gun, or spot as someone else, thinking they'll get lucky. Yeah, if you get it first, you might have the advantage, but the problem is you don't. Your game is basically over before it even starts. And even when you win the initial fight, most of the time you're coming out weak, low health, low mats, and exposed to way more players nearby. That's why I stress avoiding these coin flip situations. Instead, focus on areas where you can consistently control your first fights. Think about it this way. Even landing slightly off from a contested spot can completely change your off-spawn experience. You'll have more time to loot safely, get a weapon, build some mats, and heal if needed. Little advantages like that compound quickly. And once again, before you know it, you're in full control while others are still scrambling to find loot. So landing smart, not just fast, is definitely a big part of this as well. Next up is audio and awareness, which is something almost everyone ignores off spawn. Your ears are just as important as your aim, especially in the first 30 to 60 seconds of the match. You should always be listening for where players land, what floor or layer they're on, and if they're above, below, or in the building. Most players loot on autopilot, completely unaware of what's happening around them, and then they get pieced before they even react. But if you pay attention, you can track players before you see them. You can hear footsteps, chests opening, builds going up, and even what direction someone is moving. This gives you a huge predictive advantage because now you're not just reacting, you're controlling the actual sounds and fights. You'll start winning battles that should have been slightly unfavorable to you. Also, audio awareness helps you avoid bad fights entirely. If you hear multiple players near you or someone with better positioning, you can back up, reposition, or wait for a better moment instead of forcing that fight. So turn your game audio up, focus, and use all your cues around you, and please do not listen to freaking music during tournaments. Finally, don't overcommit to bad fights. Offspawn is all about staying alive first. If you take damage, run out of mats, or the fight isn't in your favor, it's definitely okay to disengage. Many players keep pushing when things go wrong and end up dying DPS unnecessarily. But if you retreat, heal, reset, and wait for a better moment, you often force the other player into making a mistake. They might panic, overextend, or give you an opportunity to re-engage with a full advantage. The best players constantly reset fights until everything is stacked in their favor. They don't just full sound every time, they play smart and strike at the perfect moment. Learning this is huge because it separates players who survive off spawn consistently from those who throw games without realizing it. Remember, winning off spawn consistently is about building small advantages and staying in control of the match. It's not about luck, it's about using positioning, health, mats, timing, and awareness in your favor. Play smart, listen carefully, avoid those 50-50 coin flips, and reset fights when you guys deem necessary. These habits may seem small, but over time they're going to make a massive difference and are what separate consistent off-spawn winners from everyone else. But if you made it this far, you should now understand exactly what it takes to start winning your off-spawns way more consistently in Fortnite. It's not about getting lucky, it's about playing smart, building advantages, and taking control of every fight from the start. If this helped you at all, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you struggle with most off spawn. Also, use code FLOWN in the Fortnite item shop, and check out my other videos if you really want to keep improving at Fortnite. Thank you guys for taking time out of your day to watch my video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, guys!